Right now at noon, an update on a lawsuit filed by the former Carthage city administrator against the city.
It's warm, windy, and hazy out there as we're heading into our Thursday afternoon. We'll have a look at your forecast and those thunderstorm chances coming up.
Plus, hunting for history. The city of Joplin offers a unique way to encourage historic preservation.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, this is KOAM News at noon. I'm Elise Noe. New at noon today, a woman from Knoll, Missouri is dead after being struck by a vehicle in McDonald County. The incident happened around 8:55 p.m. yesterday on Missouri 59, about 2 miles south of Knoll. According to Missouri State Highway Patrol, the 61-year-old woman entered the road in front of a 2005 Nissan Sentra. The Nissan then hit the woman. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Next of kin have been notified. Also new at noon, a car is rear-ended at highway speeds on Missouri 43. It happened last night around 6:20 at the intersection of Missouri 53 and Highway C, just outside of Hornet. A Toyota Camry was turning to the right onto Highway C when it was rear-ended by an SUV traveling highway speeds. The SUV driver was taken to a local hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The driver of the Toyota refused medical care. Well, springtime is here, or is it winter? Well, with the temperature swings in the 4 states, sometimes it can be difficult to know what season you're in from day to day or hour to hour. Now, that can leave you switching between heat and AC on your thermostat at home, sometimes all in the same day. Now, that can make it a challenge to keep your home at a comfortable level. One local HVAC expert says one thing that can help throughout the year is humidity control.
I would encourage people to add dehumidification to the house, a standalone dehumidifier that could remove humidity without changing the temperature of the house.
And tonight at 6, we'll hear more tips on how you can stay comfortable inside when the weather outside is a bit uncomfortable. Now let's check in with Chris Warner for a look at the forecast.
It is warm, it is windy, and it is hazy outside as well. Live look downtown Pittsburgh. You can see that haze. We do have clouds mixed in with that haze, so we're going with those partly cloudy skies. MoDOT camera 20th and range line. Got a lot of folks lining up for the lunch hour out there on this warm and breezy day. How warm is it? Well, it's doing okay so far. 74 both Joplin and in Pittsburgh. Now again, remember we had that boundary pushing through, so it's about here. So ahead of it, we got 79 Stockton, 80s, Monette, Cassville, and Bella Vista. And then back behind it, we're still going to warm up and eventually make the low to mid 80s. And it's just going to be a slightly slower warm up thanks to that boundary. Partly cloudy skies continue through the late evening hours. Then we'll have skies clearing overnight. South winds also easing up for us about 5 to 10 miles an hour, back down to the mid 60s by 11 o'clock tonight, and eventually to about 60 for our low. We do have thunderstorm chances increasing gradually as we roll into Friday and into next week. Some of those could be strong to severe. We're going to break down those details for you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
Chris, thanks. Well, 6 months after Missouri voters approved an abortion rights amendment, Republican state lawmakers approved a new referendum that would seek the amendment's repeal. The repeal would ban most abortions with only a few exceptions. The newly proposed constitutional amendment would send the issue back to voters in November 2026 sooner if Governor Mike Kehoe calls a special election before then. Now, the measure passed the Republican-led House last month and passed the Senate yesterday. Last November, Missouri voters narrowly approved a constitutional amendment guaranteeing a right to abortion. A lawsuit claiming retaliation in Carthage is now settled. The city of Carthage settles its lawsuit with former city administrator Greg Dagnan. Now, Dagnan claims council members and officials retaliated against him for reporting theft within the administration and violations of law. In April 2024, Carthage City Council voted multiple times to fire Dagnan, but Mayor Dan Reif initially blocked the decision, citing Missouri's Sunshine Law. He said the vote was not listed on the meeting agenda. Dagnan's lawsuit notes several instances in April and on May 10th when the council falsely announced his termination. On May 30th, the mayor allowed the council's decision to stand. Dagnan filed his lawsuit on May 17th before learning he would be let go. Fast forward to February when a judge issued a partial ruling, and now the city of Carthage has settled the rest of the lawsuit with Dagnan. Specific details of the settlement were not released. The city's insurance covered most costs, with the city paying a $1,000 deductible and denying any wrongdoing. Authorities in Massachusetts launch an investigation involving a former Cherokee County, Kansas deputy and a juvenile. The Fall River, Massachusetts Police Department contacted the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office last month regarding the investigation. The police department launched the investigation after discovering what appeared to be an inappropriate relationship between Garrett Gayoso of Baxter Springs and a juvenile in Massachusetts. After verifying the information with the assistance of the Kansas Bureau of Investigations, the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office placed Gayoso on administrative leave. The deputy has since resigned. Last week, an arrest warrant was issued for Gayoso for the charge of obscene material. Gayoso's attorney says plans have been made for Gayoso to surrender himself to law enforcement authorities in Massachusetts. And Baxter Springs Public Schools is alerting parents that a case of whooping cough was diagnosed in an individual associated with the high school. According to a letter sent to parents, the respiratory illness is highly contagious. It spreads through coughing or sneezing, and those considered a close contact should expect a call from the Cherokee County Health Department. Well, some Carthage residents got a peek behind the curtain yesterday about how the water and electric plant works. CWEP hosted 2 tours of the water treatment plant. The goal was to educate the public about how Carthage treats and delivers safe water to residents.
So this is the filter media. This is what's below in the filters, and it's what filters out any contaminants in the water and makes it safe and clean.
CWEP is in its 125th year of serving the residents of Carthage. Well, history will meet fun this weekend during a treasure hunt in Joplin. KOAM's Melissa Alexis has more about the event.
Paula Callahan is a hairdresser at Paula's Beauty Shop in Joplin. But in her free time, she's a volunteer with Historic Murphyburg Preservation Incorporated.
Joplin has rich, beautiful history. Found this was a boom town, in the 1900s, so there's a lot of history, a lot of stories.
And this Saturday, that organization is kicking off its very first treasure hunt to celebrate Historic Preservation Month and to take participants through Joplin's most iconic locations.
Everybody's going to get a little pink wristband. They're going to get instructions, the rules of the game, and then we'll give the clue at 10 o'clock and everybody spreads off across town.
Participants will solve clues that lead them to historic sites and landmarks across town.
The clues will be in order. You will see a sign like this at each of the locations.
Callahan, who's on the planning committee of the event, says the goal of the hunt is to create a fun way for residents to delve into Joplin's rich history.
Little tidbits of history, and we hope they go in and do more investigating and find out more about them.
Callahan encourages everyone from the community to come along for the adventure.
I hope to see a lot of faces. I hope to see a lot of new faces.
Reporting in Joplin, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Well, the first person to solve all the clues in the correct order wins a $1,000 prize. And coming up, President Trump makes the final stop on his visit to the Middle East. And later, we're making stuffed chicken muffins in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Well, President Trump visits the United Arab Emirates today during the final leg of his trip to the Middle East. He left Qatar this morning after rallying troops and talking about a possible Iran deal. Natalie Brand has the latest from the White House.
President Trump arrived in Abu Dhabi to great fanfare, complete with a military honor guard, music, and dancing. It's an elaborate welcome he has received on each leg of his Middle East trip. In the United Arab Emirates, he made the country's largest mosque his first stop, walking shoeless out of respect.
This is an incredible culture, that I can say.
Later, the president heads to the presidential palace for an official state visit. President Trump is using the trip to tout investment commitments and defense partnerships. Before leaving Qatar, President Trump held a campaign-style rally at Al Udeid Air Base, the largest U.S. military installation in the Middle East.
As president, my priority is to end conflicts, not start them, but I will never hesitate to wield American power if it's necessary to defend the United States of America or our partners.
During a business roundtable earlier in the day, the president suggested Iran may be close to agreeing to a nuclear deal.
They're not going to make, I call it in a friendly way, nuclear dust. We're not going to be making any nuclear dust in Iran.
He also alluded to his previous threat of military strikes.
I think we're getting close to maybe doing a deal without having to do this. There's two steps. There's a very, very nice step, and there's a violent step.
President Trump urged Qatar to help persuade Iran to reach a deal. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
And still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
If you love foods that are stuffed, join us as we share a dish that'll leave you stuffed and satisfied. I promise, it will.
And we're tracking thunderstorm chances increasing tomorrow through the weekend and next week. The latest when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at noon on this warm and hazy and somewhat muggy day. Very muggy start for the day as well for us this morning. Let's start again with that look outside downtown Pittsburgh. You can see the haze, and if you look close enough, you can see the outlines of some of the clouds out there as well, as we are still partly cloudy. So let's talk about the storm chances, because starting tomorrow, we have several days worth of storm chances in our future. Into the afternoon, again, an isolated shower storm south of I-44 is possible. Again, future tracks showing these showers. I do not believe we're going to see any, but a sprinkle or two may develop in parts of southeast Kansas this afternoon as well. By the time we hit about 5, rain chances are pretty well done. Skies will actually begin to clear, and the winds will calm down a bit as we go overnight tonight. Now, Friday starts pretty decent. Upper 50s, low 60s. Still a hair above normal, but cooler than where we have been the last couple of mornings. However, the first storm that we are watching is this activity expected early tomorrow morning, sometime between about 7 and 8 a.m., thunderstorms developing into northeastern Oklahoma. Now, these are going to continue to push off to the roughly east-northeast, and you can see this is an impressive-looking line of storms. Here we are just an hour later by 9, so it should be moving quickly. But these storms, if they come to be, as you're seeing here, or even remotely close, the environment in our area tomorrow morning will be unstable enough that it could support these storms intensifying and becoming strong, possibly severe. So it is something we want to watch very closely. Now, the thing about our storm chances tomorrow, that's it. Once those move out by about 11 noon, we're done for the day for Friday in terms of storm chances. We'll clear out, partly cloudy skies, eventually clear skies, warm, breezy as well, once again heading into Friday evening. So we do want to watch those storms in the morning. Then we go into our Saturday. Saturday starts even cooler, upper 50s for most of us. But then as we head into the afternoon, things are going to start to change. Clouds gradually begin to increase. Still cool, upper 60s, low 70s. But then we start getting a little bit of a southerly flow overhead. Temperatures warming into low to mid 80s. And late Saturday, about 9 o'clock or so, another round of showers and thunderstorms, mainly in the southern half of our area, but stretching a little further north late Saturday. Those storms could also be strong to severe as they push out of our area. And by Sunday, though, it's going to be a bit before we see our next round. So tomorrow, here's what we're looking at. There's an isolated tornado risk just barely clipping us, but we do have the isolated to scattered hail and wind threat with those potential storms tomorrow. Now, this doesn't update for another 20 minutes or so. So again, this could change based on some of the later trends on these storms going a little further to the west, but we'll see how that plays out. Then as we go into Saturday evening, Saturday night, southern half of our areas where we've got the isolated to scattered chances for strong to severe thunderstorms. Then we head into next week, and that's what we've also got to watch, is by late Sunday, another round of showers and storms. These aren't expected to be as intense, but we could see some stronger storms late Sunday into early Monday. Then we clear out Monday morning, and by Monday afternoon and evening, we get another round of strong, potentially severe thunderstorms overnight into Tuesday. Now, those storms, depending on how long they hang around Tuesday, could hinder severe thunderstorm development as we roll into Tuesday afternoon, but we could still see some stronger storms. So Sunday, the greater severe concerns to our west, but as we roll into Monday, most of the area in that zone, where Monday I think is our better chance for severe weather over a broader part of our region. And then by Tuesday, that threat continues to roll off to the east along with those storms. So a lot to watch over the next several days across the area. So again, low mid 80s today. A little warmer tomorrow. We'll have those west winds out there still gusting upwards of about 30 miles an hour. 80s continue through Tuesday, and then we drop back into the 70s by next Wednesday. But a number of storm chances over the next few days that we've certainly got to keep an eye on.
Absolutely, Chris. Thanks. And stick around. We're making stuffed chicken muffins in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. Howard's making stuffed chicken muffins in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
I don't know about you, but personally, I love anything that's stuffed. When I go out, there's a pretty good chance that I'll order the stuffed pork chop or chicken breast. And in a bakery, you can bet that I'll always go for a stuffed cupcake or a turnover bursting with apples. So today, I want to share another stuffed favorite that I know you're going to love. We begin by mixing some ricotta cheese with shredded mozzarella, a bit of grated Parmesan, and a few seasonings. Now, we dollop this onto the center of 6 chicken breasts that we flattened and sprinkled with salt and pepper. Then, we sort of roll them up. You want to make sure the chicken surrounds the filling so that it doesn't ooze out while it bakes. We'll sprinkle the tops of these with some panko breadcrumbs that we mix with a bit of paprika. Then, into the oven they go. What we end up with is a bundle of slow roasted chicken that's brimming with a rich and cheesy Italian filling. Serve it up with some pasta and sauce for the ultimate feast. To get the recipe for our stuffed chicken muffins, all you have to do is visit our website. I'm Howard of the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found an Italian stuffed way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
The recipe's on KOAMNewsNow.com. Now here's a look at the 4-state market prices.
All right, again, today, not too bad. Just warm, low, mid-80s out there. That thunderstorm chance in the morning tomorrow. Strong to severe storms possible. And those strong to severe thunderstorm chances are going to stick with us through at least next Tuesday. So just make sure you've got the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Make sure you stay weather aware through the weekend and the beginning of next week as well.
Absolutely, Chris. Thanks. Dad, what do you have for us later on tonight?
A lot coming up at 5. For starters, your old sneakers, they could be doing more than just collecting dust. How a recycling company is turning them into eco-wins. Plus, Fort Scott Community College's rodeo team is headed to nationals. We're going to check in as they prepare for that big event. And we'll have an update on some affordable housing efforts in Joplin. Hope you'll join us for those stories. A lot more, of course. It's coming up today, KOAM News at 5.
All right, Dal, thanks. And that's the news for now. Thank you for joining us on KOAM News at Noon. Now, before we go, we'd like to introduce you to some 5th grade students from Soaring Heights Elementary. Have a great rest of your day.